Hey, blissful babes. I am coming to you from my birthday staycation. I took a few little days off to relax, and I'm not supposed to be doing work right now, but I really wanted to share some things with you guys. So I am actually going to end up doing two videos while I'm here because I was just feeling inspired. And before I jump into it, I just want to share like a few things with you from my trip. So let's just jump right into it. As I've said, like I have had a couple days to really do some thinking and to think about just some things that I want to do and I want to be better at, and or some things that have been working for me this year as far as my wellness journey and how I want to like get stronger and keep going in those things. So let's get into it. So on my first tip for micro habits that will transform your wellness journey is to do things that fill you up first. Now, this can apply to a lot of different scenarios, but where I see it most applicable is when we're talking about your morning routine, like making sure that you have some time alone in the morning, especially if you have a family. If you can get, even if it's just 15 minutes in the morning, doing something that's going to set you up for success for the day or make you feel better, just like filling your cup first so that you have something to stand on, right? And like I said, that could apply in several different scenarios. But for me, the first place I always see that come up for myself is in the morning with my morning routine. Like I have a dramatically different day when I wake up before everyone else and just like get my head together and ease into my day before my son gets up. So that's going to be my first tip. My second tip is to, or thing, not even tip, but thing that I know that I want to do more frequently. I feel like I used to be a really proactive person. So I want to start acting immediately. And what I mean by that is like, if I have an idea, like I want to act on that immediately. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't sit around thinking about like what's going to happen, how it's going to get done. Like some things are worth acting on immediately. Like if you're like, okay, I want to get a gym membership, instead of thinking about, okay, how much is this going to cost? How coming up with all the reasons. I like how Ed Milet describes it on his podcast. There was an episode I listened to, and it really resonated with me where he talked about how a lot of times we negotiate the cost of things. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, you're like, okay, but then I got to get up before the kids so I can go to the gym. And then it's not going to work because then I have to do this or then I can't eat this. So you like negotiate the cost instead of just doing the thing that you know that you need to do. So for me, acting immediately, I've noticed is something that really, even if the thing that I'm acting on doesn't pan out, it helps you to build confidence within yourself when you act on your ideas and act on your intuition immediately. So, the third micro habit that I think will transform your wellness journey, and I am starting to see it transform, not, hold on, let me adjust my camera here. I've seen it transform not just my wellness journey, but I'm starting to see it just transform my life in general. Lately, I've been stopping to take a minute to think, right? Pause to think, pause to take a minute to think before you act, right? Um, and so I know this seems like a very simple thing, but I think if you start paying attention to how often you stop and think before you respond to something, you'd be surprised at how much you do or how often you do things that you don't even think about, you don't think through. If you are a person that finds yourself overwhelmed a lot, you say yes to a lot of things and you get overwhelmed, it might be because you're not pausing before you agree to do something or before you commit to do something. So, one thing that I've started doing now is somebody can just be like, "Hey, let's go out to dinner tomorrow," or "What are you doing tomorrow?" Like if a friend texts me and asks me, "What are you doing tomorrow? Can we go out for drinks or whatever?" Sometimes, or in the past, I would normally just say yes. Like my calendar's open. If my calendar's open and it works for my schedule, it's just a yes. But lately, I've just started to stop, get inside my body, and my response is based on what I'm feeling in my body once I get that request or that question. So sometimes if someone asks me like, "Hey, let's go out for dinner tomorrow." If in my body in that moment it feels like no, I'm like not excited about it, it's more than likely going to be no, If in my body it feels like, "Oh yeah, like I'm immediately excited," then it's a yes. And what I have found is that when I do this, like, I don't have regrets. I never have regrets about saying no. And I think it's just because, like, my, instinct knows, like, that's not going to be good for you tomorrow. Even if in my head, I, don't have a justification for why I don't want to go or don't want to do something, the inside of you like knows. So I find that this just really helps cut down on a lot of stress because you tend to be doing more things that are just in line with where you are and what you need when you respond in a way that you've taken a moment to pause, feel what's going on in your body. And I think you'd actually be surprised at how many decisions we make or how much we commit to without thinking about you know, how much we commit to without really just thinking, you know? Because a lot of us are like, okay, well, if my friend invites me somewhere and that's my friend and my schedule is clear, it's just a yes, right? But actually, sometimes doing that can simply add to your stress. So, my first micro habit that I think will transform your wellness journey is creating space to think. And of course, I'm saying that as I'm here on a staycation, because I needed space to think, right? So, I get that that might not be easy for everybody or that might not be feasible, but really, even just taking a few minutes in the morning before you get your day started, this kind of goes back to the first point of filling yourself up first. Start in the morning. When I wake up, I just stay in bed for a few minutes and just think and check in with myself, see how I'm feeling, see what I might be needing, what pace I might need to go at that day, just how I'm feeling. But check in, take those moments, of silence, of just you being with your own thoughts so that you can check in with yourself. And usually during these times, that's when you get inspired or you come up with solutions that you didn't even think about before because now you just created that space to think. And I kind of feel like this ties into the fifth point, which is to slow down. So, when you're able to slow down, you will notice that you actually do have more space to think. So, if you're one of those people who you're always on 100, you're moving at 100, with your pace, maybe if you take it down to 75, you'll notice, and you feel like, okay, I don't have enough time to think. If you take it down to 75, you might actually find that you actually do have time to think. So being able to slow down. I know for me, just a few days ago, I was trying to record one of these videos, and I was doing it in pieces, but my day was so hectic that day. I was overscheduled, and I just realized that, you know what, I need to slow down. And I'm glad that I did, because that day actually turned out to be really an awesome day, like despite all the hecticness. But I think it was just me realizing I started to become aware of when I'm like rushing from thing to thing, trying to do so many things. Like because I've started to pay attention to myself and my habits. I noticed that, okay, I'm like rushing today, and this is not usually good for me. And so then I was able to catch it and really slow myself down. And so if you're one of those people, because this can be difficult to do, start to notice first your pace, right? Just notice. Don't try to change anything. Just notice the rate that you're going at. Start to notice when you are getting frantic, when you're getting anxious, when you're rushing. Start to notice that first. And then once you become aware and once you can call it out in yourself, then say, okay, let me take my pace down to 25%. Let me see what I can get rid of today, what I can just put off to another time so that I can bring my pace down. And that will help you to really slow down, and you'll also be able to create more space for you to just think and be more strategic about how you spend your time and what you're putting your energy into. So if any of these resonate with you, let me know down in the comments. Also, make sure you like this video and share it with someone you know that is on their wellness journey or that might be feeling stuck in their journey. Share this with them. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. I'm starting to really enjoy doing these YouTube videos. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.